Welcome to the Wind Down, where we come together every Wednesday midwork week to wind down. Together we laugh, heal, bond, grow. It truly is a sisterhood. This is a safe space. Tonight, our main topic is ghosting. What is with this ghosting culture that's going on? Is it necessary to ghost sometimes? Have you ever
Mhm.
been ghosted?
Oh, my
Okay,
bad,
Abby,
man.
seems like you know about the topic. Go on, Abby. What you know about this ghosting culture, and is it necessary? Have you ever ghosted? Have you ever been ghosted?
I mean, I've been ghosted a lot and I ghost a lot. I think when you're like talking to people, like some people, the conversation just goes dry and then you could go on about your business. You don't really have to go give them an explanation as to why you don't want to talk to them or just stop responding. They'll get the hint, hopefully, and if don't, block them. But, um, I've had that happen a lot to me. I've done that a lot. But if it's somebody that I connected with and we've been talking for a period of time and, I don't feel like it's going anywhere, I would give them an explanation. And then, as to why it's not going to go any further in this. And if they still want to be cool, then cool. If I'm feeling some type of way and I don't want to be cool with them after I give them the explanation, then I go ghost. Cause you don't did something that don't rub me the wrong way. So now I don't want to talk to you no more. So, um, I mean, it happens. I mean, it sucks for the people that, you may connect with, um, that may ghost you without an explanation. That sucks. But if we just chit chatting and I feel like it ain't going nowhere, yeah, I'm gonna go ghost. And I don't feel like I owe you an explanation for it. Yeah, that's
So
just my
you
take on it.
so you're saying some people um do not require or have earned the need for an explanation of why you're departing or disconnecting.
Yeah, like
It's
if you just chit
mhm.
chatting with somebody, like you met them online or something like that, and y'all was just pretty much just like exchanging the messages or a few phone calls here and there, but y'all haven't connected on no level like anything deep or anything that would connect y'all to. Like I don't, and you don't feel like they're a fit for you. I don't have a problem with the ghost in there, and like I said, I've been ghosted a lot too. So it's just, I don't know. I think it's just people. If there's no real connection there, like I don't feel like an explanation is needed unless that person reached out to you and be like, "Hey, so why you stop talking to me?" Then you'll get it. Then I'll tell you why. Um, and then depending on how you react, like if you go off Richter, then I'm gonna block you, and then it ain't gonna be no ghost. You just ain't gonna see me no more. But you know, but people that I've connected with and I don't feel like it's gonna go anywhere. Um, and I tell them that I don't usually ghost them unless their reaction is something crazy, like they're coming after me, they calling all the time, they texting all the time, something like that, and then I'll go ghost. But they usually go ghost on me after I say that, whatever, whatever. So
I get it. And so you have had to, I guess, go ghost on someone even after explaining to them why you were ending.
yeah, they went crazy. Like you can't call me 55 times in a row. I have a job.
Hmm,
Like that is crazy. That is crazy work. Like,
definitely.
like that's crazy work. Now you got to get blocked and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't have
Hmm.
time for that.
No, I've definitely had a time or two. Well, you was like, hold on, wait, you really acting like this? Oh Lord, thank God. You can't even handle a simple conversation.
Yeah, and it's like the ones that there's like that I'm kind of disappointed or my feelings are hurt. Like, I'll if they keep wanting to know answers to questions, I would give you that to an extent, but it's not going to extend too long because now it's just getting redundant. And I can't do redundancy, and then you're going to get volatile, and I don't have time for that either. So
Goodness. And what's been
yeah,
people want to chase you now? Chase when you chase them nowadays. I don't chase anything, but not even my liquor really.
if
So
I want you, I'll chase you. If I want you, I'll chase you. It got to be chasing within reason too. I'm not just going to be running after you and you ain't giving me no play. No, but I like the pursuit. Don't make it too easy for me. I like the pursuit. Like if you frustrate me in a good way, I'm gonna keep coming after you.
mm.
Heathen.
Wait, Holly, how you gonna come out the woodworks with that and just go back and on mute?
I'm just being funny to y'all. But I understood what you were saying, so I will agree to that extent. But, you know, I'll wait my turn.
No, would you come out? Would
It's
you
your
come out like
turn.
that?
Speak
Come
up.
on out. No, come on out and talk to us, honey bunny. Heathen, and then you're always comedic. What's that about? Come on, talk to us.
Um, so now ghosting is tricky with me. So I will admit I did ghost, but not to 98% of it was not on purpose. It was just, life happens. You know how you're just so busy you don't have time to talk to people or as much as you want to do, and then by the time you thought about them, they like, I moved on. Like, why are you talking? Or at least that's how I think of it before I even text it. So, um, the for real ghosting that I have done, it was on with I'll say three. Just like Evie said, calling me wanting to talk to you every second of the day. Like I can't do that. These weird on the spot meetups, like we're teenagers, like, hey, I want to see you. Where are you at? And I want to, come meet up or whatever. Whoa, bro. We ain't even, you know, had too much conversation to say, oh, let's meet up. Um, Doing ballistic stuff, like, man, it was a lot. Those three people, yeah, it had to be just a ghost or a block situation, and yeah. But most of the time when I did ghost, it was like I was just doing 50 million things and it got sidetracked. I have been ghosted. Um and kind of glad that they ghosted me because they were kind of lame to begin with. So, I'm too cool for all that. Uh, so yeah, ghosting is just tricky. Just
It's like when it comes to these like dating apps, like people are just swiping left and right. So sometimes you start talking to somebody and y'all having consistent chat, and then it just stops. Like that's a form of ghosting, and that's like basic ghosting. That's not even like anything real ghosting. But I know people like when they meet these people on apps and the conversation doesn't go anywhere, they feel like they owe them an explanation. No, just swipe left. Just swipe left and keep going.
Swipe left.
Swipe left and keep going. It's like it's a dating app. You're fishing. That's what you do. Catch and release. You're fishing.
But is it always that simple?
At that level, I feel so. You haven't made any real connection with those people.
You know, would you if you just write people off of that, right? So, what determines whether someone is worth getting to know or not? Especially nowadays, most people don't talk on the phone. We got a lot of people that's into texting. Don't get me wrong, I can understand them now because I talk a lot with what I do. So being on the phone can be exhausting, especially if you're online with someone who doesn't know how to keep the conversation going by themselves because you're not gonna always have it to give all the time, right? I think we was talking about that at the sit down. How sometimes you may not have it to give, right? So that'd be exhausting too if I have to be on the phone with you and create conversation. Yeah, right? So how do you get to where you want to get to know this person and get past the okay, they like to talk, they like to text, they're a little busy, you know, after 4 o'clock, the best time to call. Hmm.
I mean, texting is just very convenient, but then, like you just said, 4 o'clock is the best time to call. That's a little suspicious for me because majority of the time when they put it on the time frame, they got something else going on. But they next to that's the time that they little boo thing ain't by them or something like that. So that's a little suspicious, but. Texting just make it, very convenient, and it's like, especially if you have like a busy life, it don't take 2 seconds to send a text message, especially if that's somebody that you want to get to know. Like, hey, I'm busy, but blase, blase. I was thinking about you, whatever the case may be. And I suck at holding conversations. I know I talk a lot, but I'm one of them people like you have to get me to talking to keep me talking. But I gotta work on that. I'm gonna do better. Work on it.
Well, I'm loving the maturity, the emotional intelligence, and accountability, Abby. And yeah, never would have known that you don't hold conversations well. You definitely hold them well here. So you saying you need someone to start it. Okay. Like a conversation starter, topics. And then you can go from there. Right?
Yeah, like give me talk topics, and then I'll bounce topics off those topics. But for me to just start a conversation, I'm not a big talker, but that's something I got to work on. So, because not a lot of people are cool with just only being a conversation starter.
Yeah. I mean, that's the art of conversation. Is bouncing topics off of a previous conversation. Oh, how was your day? It was pretty good. I just came from getting lunch and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, what was for lunch? Oh, I had this, that. Oh, you like Chinese food? I like Chinese food too, except for blah 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 blah. I mean, it's the art of conversation. Well, you wouldn't believe how many people don't know how to do that. Go on, Shannon. I think this texting thingy is what's contributed a lot to the lack of conversation, real conversations now. Go
I
on, Shannon.
I need you to reiterate the question, the first question you had.
Ghosting is ghosting. What's going on with the ghosting culture now? It seems more people rather ghost than give constructive criticism or anything, and either possibly move along with that person or be friends with that person or right cut them off. I do think some situations though. I definitely had one where it was like no. Mm-mm. This is it, honey. First and last date, baby girl. Okay, but I made sure she got home safely. And once I knew she was home, it was over. So, cut off.
So I
Not.
I think I have levels to ghosting.
Hmm.
So previous to what Ebony was stating about like the dating apps. Now if you swipe in, whether it be on I don't know what they got out here no more. Is plenty of fish still a thing? I don't even know. Be okay. Whatever they got
Yeah.
out here now, like if you If you swiping, then and y'all start a conversation if you matched or whatever, like that's it is what it is. If you fall off and you don't talk no more, like because you're just on this date now. But if you get to a point where you're exchanging numbers and you having a conversation, even if it's not like a long period of time, I feel like for me personally, I will let them know, like, hey, like, it was cool talking to you, but I'm not interested in any further, so that they don't feel like they have to keep messaging me or keep pursuing me or trying to get a hold to me later. And the only reason why I feel like that too is because I feel like giving somebody energy is a privilege. You don't have to, no one is making you sit on the phone with a person. You're not obligated to talk to a person. So if you volunteering your time and energy, that's a privilege to do so. And so I don't want to take anybody's energy for granted, even if it is for a day or an hour or even 2 seconds. Like if I gave you my number and we interacting at any point or another, I feel like I should be grown enough, mature enough to say, I don't think this is working, and that be what it is. And if we talking for a long period of time, of course, like that goes without saying. I know some people that just be blocking people quick. Like even if you talk to them for a long period of time, they quick to block you. But I feel like no, like I have to tell you something before I just be like ghost, ghost or whatever the case may be. Now, if it's a toxic situation where you just out of pocket, then of course you blocked, we're done, it's a wrap. But if you ain't did nothing and ain't nothing toxic going on and we just maybe grew apart or just fell out of interest with one another, then I feel like at the very least I should be like, hey, you know what? It was cool talking to you. I wish you the best. And then that be that.
And sometimes that's necessary, Shad. It truly is. Sometimes that's necessary. I'm not sure if you had any personal experience you wanted to add, but I definitely have one.
Oh
When
yeah, I've been ghosted before. I've been ghosted before,
okay,
and just that little bit would have went a long way. Just to say, hey, you know what? We didn't jive very well, but I wish you all the best. Like just that little bit would have went a long way. And I have that. I care about my character and how I'm presented, and I feel like just that little bit plays into your character. Something as simple as whether or not you're gonna ghost somebody. That's a character thing. So it's like if you have the common decency to be like, hey, you know what? We didn't have enough in common as I thought, or like I didn't like your attitude, or whatever. Just giving somebody an explanation of some kind. It ain't even got to be all that. It can just be, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like whatever it is. Like I feel like that's common decency.
but can you also feel when a date didn't go well?
If a date don't, if are you talking about like if I physically go on a date with somebody and it don't go well, I'm gonna tell them in
Yeah.
their face, in front of
Well,
them. I'm not gonna wait and leave and don't talk to them no more. Like I'm gonna tell them right there on the dang date. Hey,
oh,
Like,
this
look,
date
this
really?
ain't
has
going
been
very
nice, but
well.
it ain't gonna happen again. This gonna be a first and
Like
last.
on the
It's
date.
it.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
date. On the date. Like I'm not gonna wait until I'm all the way home to be like, yeah, well, no. I'm gonna say right there in their face, like, you know what? It was cool. We had a good time, but I didn't like your wardrobe. And I had a date like that where she showed up sandy as heck in beach shorts, and we was at a steakhouse and it was fancy, and she was the only one looking crazy. I told her right then and there, like, hey, you know what? It was cool, but like you kind of came unintentional. Like you just didn't even care about getting dressed up for me.
Well,
And that was the
immaturely,
first.
I've left people at the restaurant, had the waiter bring me the bill, and then I just left. That was early 20s me. I didn't have the maturity then, but I left before the entrees came out.
Goodness, it was that bad?
It's listen, listen. I was gone before the entrees came out because one, you loud, we in. Like Shaw was saying, we was in a fancy restaurant. One you loud, one you being ratchet, one you being ghetto. Like who did this? But I don't even do ratchet and ghetto. That ain't even my type. So I don't know who your representative was that you was giving me before we got here, and then you was being rude to the waiter, something I don't do, and then on the way in, you was rude to the janitor, and I take that very offensive because my father and my grandfather, two of the greatest men that I know, lived and supported their families off me and janitors. So that's very sensitive to me right there. So you already had all the strikes against you before we even sat down.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I would have been like deuces because I'm
So
super
I
polite. Like I'm super polite. That would have been a red flag for me too.
I left before, like I don't even think I ordered, but I paid. I got up and was like, I'm gonna go to the restroom. I had to wait. I was like, yo, bring me the check. I paid and I left. I was done. That girl ain't never here for me again.
You
So
gotta
that
tell
was
us
ghosting
something.
before.
That's the only time, Ali, I see your hand is up. Really quickly, is that the only time you've had to leave and ditch a date early on, Abby?
Nah, I left somebody on vacation. Cause you're not gonna ruin my vacation. I left her ass right in the room. I went and enjoyed my vacation. She was lucky she got a ride back to Miami. Like, no. And that was old to me. You're not gonna fuck up my vacation and my birthdays, you're not gonna fuck that up. No.
What
Not
happened?
with having she just had a really bad attitude. And I was just like, yo, did something happen? Because we went to Key West. In the drive from Miami to Key West, I love that drive. So I always want to drive because I just love that drive. It's beautiful. So the entire, and mind you, from Miami to Key West, it's a 4 hour drive. The entire time, she had an attitude. Like, I'm excited, I'm showing her things, I'm pulling over, blah, 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 blah. She had an attitude because she wanted to take a boat. And I was just like, yo, that's not in the budget. That's extra 600. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to take the boat back, so that's another 600. It's like I don't have that right now, but I was like, we'll do a sunset cruise while we're there. Straight attitude, mind you. You didn't have to pay for nothing. So when we got to the hotel room, I was like, yo, you want to talk to me about what's going on? And told me she was pissed off about the boat. Like, she was really excited for a boat ride. And I was like, I told you before I booked the trip that we weren't going to do a boat ride. Like, I told you that. I was like, we'll do a sunset cruise, but we're not taking a boat from Miami to, Key West. That's $1,200. I'm not doing that. So, and she was just like, it was something else that was just like very like over that's very over my budget. And like I'm very upfront, like, okay, this is my budget, this is what I have, this is what we have to work with. And I'm a planner, so a lot of things are planned and get done. And Key West is like a beach town. It's like you chill out, you relax, you drink, you eat good, you relax. So that was her attitude. I said, well, I have this and this plan. I think I had we were going out on a boat because I think I had snorkeling booked. And she was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to do that. Okay, bitch. Stay your ass here in the room. Figure it out on your own. I don't give a damn. You're not about to ruin my vacation. So we were out there for 3 days. And the 3 days, I don't know what she did. She don't know what I did. I really didn't give a damn. Like, I enjoyed my vacation. And because I'm not a heartless motherfucker, that was the only reason why she got a ride back to Miami. Otherwise, she would have been finding her way from Key West back to Miami. And I don't think she did much because she didn't bring a whole lot of money. And I was still decent enough to bring her food because it didn't look like she left the room. It didn't look like she had ate. So I was still, even though you was being a funky and, whatever, I was still decent enough to bring you food. But you're not going to ruin my vacation. So yeah, that's
She
what happened with
sounded
that.
ungrateful. She sounded very
Very,
ungrateful.
very, very ungrateful. Like I had a whole full 3 days plan. And anybody that know me, look, Key West is one of my favorite places. Like, I love that place. So, and I had things planned like every day. Like, I still spent a good 1,100, and that's not including the hotel room. Uh,
How old was this person? She sounded like a little girl.
Let me see. At the time, I was we had to be around the same age. Cause I want to say I was like in my mid 20s.
She do sound like a teenager, right? I want to get on a boat. Put me on the boat. Let me on the
And the
boat.
thing, she wanted to be, flashing. Oh, I went. Mind you, you ain't never been outside your city limits. Let's talk about that first. You ain't never been outside your city limits, so you wanted to be flashing and be like, "Oh, I did this and I did that." The crazy thing about it was, you still could have been because you ain't never been outside your city limits. So I don't know.
And she had nothing to give towards the trips and had so much to
She didn't.
demand.
that- She didn't have to. I was. This was back in my days when I was doing stuff, so I had it. But I didn't have. I wasn't spending another 1,200 just to take a freaking boat to and from Key West. One, especially because I love the drive. It's a very beautiful drive. So yeah, yeah. But like Shy said, some people are just ungrateful. But you're not gonna fuck up my vacation. I will leave you. And that's one thing I'm very adamant about. My birthday and my vacations, I will leave you and go enjoy myself.
She sound very childish.
Right?
Yes, that sounds like something what I just dealt with, but on the other end of it though. But yeah, very similar. Alia, you've had your hand up for a while. Go on. Thank you for your patience, Alia.
So first off, I was thrown off by the fact that you said somebody was rude to the waiter, because all I could think about is hog spit in my food or Queen Latifah. I would be running to the bathroom. I don't I don't play about people being rude to the waiter. I'm sorry, you're not gonna kill me and all that, but um. So my question for really everybody, like, what is the biggest pet peeve to say, this is it? I cannot deal with you. We cannot go any further because you tripping. Like that was my big question, because I know I have a couple, but sometimes I feel like, my pet peeves could be somewhat sorted out, like y'all said, with communication in a way. But other times it's just like I stick to my gun and be like, you know what? F this mug, I'm out. I can't do it. So I'm just trying to figure out, is there a big pet peeve that makes y'all say, yeah, I'm sticking to the guns, or let me communicate and give somebody the benefit of the doubt.
Really, what Ebony just said in that scenario is a pet peeve of mine. Don't You learn everything you need to know about a person when traveling too, like how a person travels and how y'all can get to point A to point B to point C tells you a lot. And if a person is traveling with an attitude, if they not good with people, if they not a people person, all of that'll show when you on the road with a person, whether you on a plane, the train, however
Hmm.
you getting to where you getting to, will show you how a person operate with people. And
I
that
don't
right there
understand
is a pet
people.
peeve of mine and a red flag. If you not a people person and you can't have no, you don't have common decency, or you not polite, your manners, everything like that, you loud, all that stuff, I be turned off completely.
Like, I don't understand how people can be pissed off on vacation. Then I don't understand how people be pissed off on a vacation that they ain't gotta come out of pocket for. And then I don't understand
Right.
how people be pissed off on a vacation where you surrounded by warm blue water. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And then the whole being rude, like if we meet up for the first time and like you just rude and disrespectful, especially to working people, that's a nah for me, bro.
For
That's
real,
we
for real.
done. Cause that ain't even called for. That ain't even called for. Like you could be dissatisfied with the service and not be obnoxious about it. Like that's just crazy. But just being rude for no reason, nah, I don't do that. I come from a working class family. Like, nah, I don't do that.
Mm, I agree.
Okay.
And don't show
Wonderful.
up to no dang on steakhouse in no goddamn beach shorts. The hell wrong with you? I wouldn't
Beach
even went in
shorts
the
with some dirty
I would
shoes.
I wouldn't even went in the restaurant. I was like, well, let's go to McDonald's and grab a burger because you clearly ain't dressed up for par. Nah.
No, we actually got to the restaurant, we ate and everything, and then I told her like, "Hey, this I'm good."
Man, well, I figure I asked because I know I got mine, and I, shoot, y'all don't want me to go down that road. What's the next topic, y'all?
Oh, and that's
That's
another thing too. Like, if we both going somewhere, like I feel like we both should share that same level of common decency. Like, I would hate to be with someone that is rude and I'm not rude, or whatever the case may be. Like, it's clashy that way. Like, cause I'm super polite when I'm out. I say, excuse me, pardon me. I'm telling people thank you all throughout the time. Like, I'm doing that throughout my whole time, no matter where I'm going. If I'm in and out of an Uber, I'm gonna have a conversation with the Uber driver. We gonna talk. I'm gonna tell them thank you. When I get out, I'm gonna tell them thank you. I'm gonna compliment whatever. I'm like that throughout my whole day, and so I would hate to be around someone that's not. Like, it'd be real weird.
Yeah, I'm like that too, and that's kind of why I was just double checking to make sure, like, yo, is everybody like that too? Like having a pet peeve because when you go out and you're trying to just relax, get to know, be romantic, it it's just like you expect the same. I remember like a minute ago, um, I was trying to be romantic. I thought we could go watch a little bit of the moonlight, talk, whatever. And this person kept whining about how they wanted to go home, complain. And I just said, F it, get out my car. And after that, I did not care if we ever talked or seen each other again because that just pissed me off. I'm trying to be romantic and you're being an ass. And it's not going to cut it for me, for my sensitive Libra side. And
Yeah, them people that like try to find a problem in anything and everything, yeah, I can't do those type of people either. Like if you gonna find a problem in anything and everything, I'm gonna be like, yeah, after the second time of me trying to, maneuver around that, I'm done. It's a wrap.
really quickly, Shad, the woman who came misdressed, unintentionally dressed when you was at a steakhouse. What did you say when you addressed her attire?
She basically said that I was stuck up and bougie ish because I had a problem with her wardrobe.
So she lacks emotional maturity, intelligence, and she doesn't have accountability. And
All of that.
and instead of her thinking things through, she just retorts. Okay, well, I say you dodged the bullet with that one. Some pet peeves. Well, I just say some boundaries, some standards. What comes in with some of most of my pet peeves would be, manners. And like Shai was saying, I think that boils down to you probably want someone with personality, Shad. There's nothing like being with somebody that's boring. Jesus. It's ex-
Tell me about it.
it's exhausting. Like so you don't have nothing to say? So I gotta come up with something else to say how. Okay. I'm comfortable with silence. But to know that I'm gonna have to fill it up eventually is exhausting. I can deal with the boring personality.
Yeah, yeah, like I'm not exactly high energy, but at the same time, like when I am low vibration, it's like I don't really like to talk when I'm low vibration. So it's like if we on a I tend to avoid being on the phone anyway when I'm low vibration, but if there's ever a chance that I am, I don't want to be still the one responsible for the conversation.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're dealing with someone who don't understand that, they'll be sitting on the phone waiting for you to say something the whole time. It could be 2, 3 hours. So, when do you say something? When do you say, "Hey, listen"? The other day we was, talking, and I noticed we was silent for a good 45 minutes to an hour. What was that about? And then they tell you they was waiting on you to say something. How would you handle that? Anyone?
I mean, me, this is the part of me that I have to work on because if we sitting on the phone silent, because maybe, like I said, I'm not a big conversation starter. Like I bounce off conversations. I'm not a big starter, especially on the phone. But if we're sitting in silent on the phone and I'm into you and we like connected in some type of way, I'm gonna find some comfort in that and I'm gonna be okay. But if you're not somebody I'm feeling, I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna let you later. Because with me sitting on the phone with somebody that I'm comfortable with and we not really saying anything, it would be just like we're in person. But in person we probably wouldn't be talking either, but we'll be in each other's space doing our own thing. So that's how it look like that. But I'm not finna sit on the phone and silent with somebody I ain't really feeling like that. Like, yo, hit me up when you want to talk. Like I'm not about to do that. But the person that I'm feeling like, do whatever you doing over there, I'm gonna do whatever you doing I'm doing over here, and I'm gonna be in my comfort zone because I'm comfortable with you in that way.
Okay, interesting. Do you think that it's always received like that though? If
Definitely
you're
not.
just
Like I have to like I typically have to explain that in the beginning. And sometimes, the people I'm talking to, they're cool with it, and other times they like, yo, like, I don't have it today. I need you to find it. And then I'm like, oh shit, now I'm in panic mode because now I gotta do something that's not typically me, so um do something out of my comfort zone. Because if I was there, because I'm an actions person, because I'm an in person, like if I was there, I can physically comfort you, but me comforting you through words and on the phone, that's out of my comfort zone. But that's something with me talking and dating, most majority long distance, that I have to work on.
I mean, it's good to learn more about you and bring awareness. Seems that you become more aware about yourself as well, Abby. Um, that seems exhausting for whoever you're dating to have to always be the one to create the conversation and then you go off of it. That sounds exhausting.
Yeah, like some people are cool. Like Some people I talk to, they're cool with it because, like I said, once again, you get me talking, you can't get me to stop talking. And then I have other people, they're like, they feel like I'm not interested because I don't have in that aspect anything to give, and that's just not it. It's just, you know, to learn me is to know me. Like that's not it. But that's something that I have to work on because I am, running into people that I'm interested in, and they're like, I don't think you're that interested. You don't ever have anything to ask me to talk about or anything like that. And then, you know what I'm saying? That's not the case. It's just that's out of my comfort zone. Like I'm an actions person, so I'm not a words person. So, but I'm gonna work on it. It's a work in progress.
Good. You can use your words for action. You can Google 21 questions or good questions to ask people to get to know them or things like that.
Yes,
Because yeah, because
mhm, I agree.
that's what the person who's trying to date you be having to do. They can always agree, oh, I'm cool with that, and eventually until they're not, because it becomes um kind of overwhelming. That's a task that they know they have to take on all the time. And they may not have it to give that day or that week or 2 days out that week. And I just loving the growth though, Eddie, loving the growth. And
And
how
I'm
do
I'm learning that too, lady, because and I don't know if it's a an Aries thing or not, but I've learned because some for some reason like I'm off to a flame. I attract Aries. It's like all my friends, people I've recently dated, and all that. They're all Aries. And what I don't know if I don't want to put y'all in the zodiac box, but there's a lot of that I find to be like the common denominator too in a lot of my dynamics with Aries is the silence. And I'm having to like pick up somewhere because they don't talk as much. So it's like, yes, it can be exhausting because if there's things that maybe I don't have in my back pocket to discuss, but I want to talk, then like the conversation is dead. It's kind of hard to pick things up that way sometimes when the conversation is dead and you don't necessarily have anything to talk about, but you want to talk. Like that's a sucky like area to be in. But yeah,
absolutely? I can't imagine that being an Aries. I'm an Aries, and I have the opposite effect problem. I have the issue with running to people who don't
well
know
that's
how.
good.
Yeah, well, imagine what I do. I mean, I do the wind down and sit down.
Well,
I
that's
always create
good
the
because a good
topic.
hand, I want to say three or more Aries that I run into all have that same dynamic where it's like they're okay with being quiet and they'll sit on the phone and they're okay with that.
No, that can feel
Yeah.
like avoidant. That can feel like pressure for you to speak or for you to come up with something too. I just dealt with that recently with someone I was talking to. Think we were silent for like 2 hours, and I figured she fell asleep, but I knew that I had just finished talking so much that I had to drink water. So I knew I wasn't
You was
about to
bumping your gums.
listen. I knew I wasn't about to be the one that pulled the conversation, and it wasn't. It's not about a tit for tat or anything. It's just, hey, I don't always want to be the one giving for one and two. I'm not here for anyone's entertainment.
Yeah,
So
it's when you stop and really think and step back. That's when you be like, dang, I'm every time I get on this phone, I'll be doing all the talking or I get to just disclosing all my whole day and this person probably only said a couple things.
And it's like for me in person, it's a totally different ball game because I'm an actions person. So on top of us talking and getting to know each other in person, which will probably bring out even more conversation, like I gotta see you smile. So I'm gonna joke. I'm gonna say something that's gonna make you blush. Like I'm a hands on person. Like for me to just like sit on the phone and just only use my words to keep you interested, I don't like. For me, I don't like. If you don't keep me talking, I have nothing to talk about. It's crazy, but I
Sounds
have
like accounts
everything.
need to be activated.
I I have everything to talk about. So if you could keep me talking on those days where you're normal, but when it's like if you're a talking person, you're the one that keeps the conversation. You're the conversation started, and you need those days where I'm that person. I go in panic mode, like it's anxiety for me. Like my therapist was like, have a list of questions, do what you need to do to prepare yourself for those days because I go in straight panic mode because I feel like I am basic as hell when it comes to that. So
And maybe that's enough, Abby. I just want you to know you don't have to ask a question that's going to require a 30-page letter. You understand what I'm saying? It could be basic. It can be something simple. So people just want to feel that you're giving,
Just
making an
feedback. It
effort in
doesn't
it.
have to be. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, something as simple as uh, do you like to cook? What item you like to cook on the stove? I'm just saying. You like to cook? Have you ever used a Dutch oven? I mean, it don't have to be nothing intricate, nothing very sophisticated. I mean,
that's another thing. Is like, what if I ask the wrong question and like it's a lot. Like I overthink it so much, and I have to chill out on that. I know I do. It's something I got to work on, but I'm getting better, step by step, day by day, brick by
hmm
brick. You know,
good.
I'm getting better because like the women that I'm really interested in, a few of them that aren't okay with just me and the conversation started. They told me, they was like, well, are you interested in me? They was like, what do you know about me? And I'm like, I know a lot. You talk a lot. I listen. I'm a listener. I'm gonna pick up everything. I'm gonna remember everything. So, and I had one girl quiz me. She was just like, well, what about this? And I could gave her all the answers. She was like, oh, you were listening. You are interested. I'm like, yeah, that's another big part of learning me. Like, I'm listening, I'm attentive, I'm that person, but I gotta work on that other side, and I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna get there.
For sure, for sure. I think it's also reassuring to for the other person to give conversation, right? So it can be a basic question, and the person can totally appreciate it because they just want reciprocation. Okay, because imagine that you feeling that person probably feels that all the time, but they have to do it to make that relationship blossom or move forward or move at all. Especially with long distance, okay, we have to be very um what do we call it? Expressive. We gotta be gotta figure out different ways to connect with long distance, right? Hey, let's do a video date. Hey, let me send you what you have a taste for. As a matter of fact, no, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna send you something that you surprised me and send me something. I'm allergic to shellfish, or there's don't send me nothing like that. And then we get a surprise meal from each other, and you watch us a movie together. Or something. You have to be creative when you're doing long distance. You gotta find different ways to connect with your person. Okay, and don't forget to have those big conversations. You have to talk about if anyone's willing to move. People don't be talking about that for 3 to 6 months. You kind of need to have talked about that the moment you figured out y'all don't live in the same area. Well, are you able to move, relocate at any point? Oh well, no. What I do for work is not transferable. I've been with this company for 9 years. I plan on retiring here. And you know what I mean? Like you gotta have those conversations. But people shy away from a lot of things that's important. You gotta have those important things or you're wasting time. And be realistic in your responses and be honest. If you know you don't really want to move, you need to say that. This person probably is willing to move. But if you say you're willing to move now, they probably position themselves to say they're not. So you really gotta be honest with yourself and learn to be honest with others. Especially when you're out trying to date someone. When you're out trying to date, you're saying that you're going to be responsible. You can be committed. You're ready to actually share your life with someone. You're ready to put in the effort. You're willing to actually sit and listen and get to know somebody. It's a lot that you're agreeing to without saying it when you're out here trying to date. Okay? And you're responsible for someone else's heart and feelings. But some people like to push it on the other person. Well, how does somebody make you feel this way? No, 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 no. Cut the BS. When you're out here dating, you're responsible for someone's heart. Be gentle, be kind, be mindful, be aware. Know what you're out here getting yourself into. It takes someone 3 to 5 years to hear from you, if ever. Let's remember that. It's a lot of responsibility being in a relationship. But it's beautiful in its own way too, right? It's not. That's not has to be. It doesn't have to be a bad thing to be responsible for someone's heart. If you're gonna do the right thing, then why is it a bad thing? Why is it so much pressure? If you're gonna do the right thing, if you have good intentions, it shouldn't be too much pressure to know that you're responsible for someone else's heart and how their day go. You have the biggest influence on how their day go. Like, are we thinking of all of this before we say that we're ready to actually be in a relationship? Because if so, that's how you know you're ready to be out here dating if you're thinking of all these hard questions. Am I healed enough? Am I mature enough to overcome the differences between myself and someone else? We're not going to be exactly the same, even if you have a lot of similarities with the person. The way you may handle something, they may handle it differently. So, Shad says, you can have all the intentions in the world. You can subconsciously hurt someone, unfortunately. Uh, yeah, yeah. But I think life is about choices. And I think before we make certain choices, we know if it's going to hurt someone or not. I think. Or that, excuse me, if it has the potential to hurt someone. I think. Yes. So I guess it all depends. But subconsciously, that means you also made some type of choice, like a decision, right? Well, I don't know. It could be the slightest decision. I know of it, the consequence of, or the possible consequence. That is what I'm about to eat. Me opening the door, me going to drive. No matter what it's going to be, I know the choice and what could come with the choice, right? So I don't know. I don't know. I think you could have started with good intention. I think by the point you make different choices to where it can hurt someone, your intentions have possibly changed with that person. If you make a choice that can hurt them, then your attention has shifted by that point. I think, right? If someone decides to cheat, then they probably didn't. I don't know. Never been a cheater, but let's say in a relationship, they probably have intentions, full intentions to be faithful in everything. But if they make the decision to cheat on you, their intention has shifted, right? So I do think things can start one way and end a different way. I guess figuring out the why is important. so it doesn't happen again, or to have awareness. But that's only going to happen if we're being honest, especially with ourselves.
I mean, the thing is, some people don't even have intention, which is why I said subconsciously, because you can get into something with someone who isn't self-aware, who don't know what they're doing. They're just in it, and they're not aware of what's going on and how they can hurt the person at all.
Oh, goodness. Did you say some people don't even have intentions? Jeesh.
Real. Some people don't have intentions. They just there.
Mm, not even bad intentions, just nothing. Mm,
Not a thing.
okay, that's a valid point. I didn't think of that. Some people don't even have intentions. Jesus. That's a rude awakening for you right there. Some people don't even have intentions.
They just floating around, going through lovers. They looking for something. They don't know what it is they looking for at the moment, but they looking for something. And you just come along, and that's what they going for at that time, in that moment, whatever it is. And they don't really know. They don't really know what they intent is. They just did.
So what to look out for with people from people like that shy? Because I think I've always been able to pick up if whether someone had good or bad intentions. I don't think I've ever came across someone who didn't have any intention.
Like like this Keita character, I don't think she had any intentions, lady. No offense.
Excuse me? Say that again? Shy?
So I was chewing while I was talking.
Mm-hmm.
The was it Keita you was last talking to?
Mm-hmm.
It was Keita, right? I don't
Yeah.
know if she had intentions or not. I'm not sure that she had any intentions.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like
Possibly.
she was just looking for convenience or whatever, but I don't know if it was intent behind what she was doing.
Mm-hmm. Which is why it doesn't make sense. Even though she left that podcast gift. I don't think she was ever sure. I think her insecurity kept her from being sure, and rightfully so.
And yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. Like most of the time, you could tell when somebody ain't really doing things with intentions, is if they going through something. Like if they just mentally out of it. Like they just going through the motions. And unfortunately, sometimes when somebody is going through the motions, you just end up being their pit stop along the way of them going through the motions. Like, oh, here's this person over here that want to give me a little bit of time. Let me just go on over here for right now. But they're mentally unstable. You're just not aware of it. Some people are good at masking the fact that they're mentally unstable.
Yeah, with that situation, I'm definitely not exactly sure what to make of it, but I don't think neither one of us expected much of anything, and I think that her attraction grew for me, and she didn't really know what to do with it, or if it was anywhere place to put it. She didn't know. She was unsure, because I was unsure, and I pushed away plenty of times. And I wasn't sure about the attraction. Remember, we talked about that a lot. And I wasn't
Oh
attracted
yeah.
to her.
Hmm.
You was only unsure about her attractiveness, but closer it got to your birthday, you came around to it. Like you were excited, you were hype about it.
But if I'm being completely honest about that lady, I don't really think that that's what it was. I think that was your intuitive telling your ass to run. I don't think it had anything to do with you questioning her attractiveness. I think that could have been your intuition telling you to get on down, and you thought it was this, but it was really that.
Mm, I see where you come from. But that'd be odd because I promise you, before meeting, you would have thought she was the perfect person. I kid you not, patient, gentle, kind, understanding, supportive, a good listener. Yeah, totally opposite person in person though. Jeesh, goodness. No, for real. I don't know. I've told you, to feel like she said somebody else, like totally said somebody else. Doesn't feel like her, nothing. The energy, nothing is the same. Just totally opposite. I don't know what that was, but I've about erased that experience from my memory. Almost, thank God. Whew.
Thank God.
Okay. Jesus. Thank God for time.
But that's what I mean by people masking their mental issues because she could have had some mental issues, but you can't mask that in person. So she was probably good at doing it over the phone with you.
I don't know what that was. I can definitely see mental health being something though. Had to be. Especially how she had the clothing store and afterwards. That was very like bizarre to me. The hell was that? I'm like, no, it couldn't have been her being fake bougie. That was something else. I don't know what the hell that was. I'm gonna contribute that to a mental health disorder. It's the only thing that makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. And I done picked my brain too long on trying to figure that whole piece out. That's when everything started changing right there. But eh, I don't have any regrets. I still had a good time, and it is a little scary now.
Period.
Yeah, but it is a little scary to know that you can been talking to someone for so long, and they
And
can.
they can be slower than a doorknob. They can be anybody they want to be.
I'm not about to play with you. Did you say a doorknob? But no,
Slower
for
than a
real.
doorknob, swear to God.
No, I'm for real. It's really that's scary to know. I mean, remember me and her was talking for about probably a little longer than 9 months, but I'm gonna just say 9 months. And I kid you not, you totally opposite in person. Nothing was the same. Nothing. Like no, nope, nothing. Not one trait was the same. Nothing. It was total opposite of whatever her trait was in person. It's total opposite than it was on the phone. Goodness, I feel like I was in a what the hell is that? A nightmare for 3 days. The hell was that? I was bamboozled. Like somebody flashed me with the bit of black flash. Has anyone ever been catfished? Because I think I was cat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, tell us about it, Abby. Because I think I was
This
catfished.
is the reason why I do random video calls. I need to see you in movement before I see you in person. Because I got catfish. I'm thinking I'm talking to some chocolate natural hair and thick. I pull up, you a whole white woman.
Oh my,
Yeah,
that's
Not a
tragic.
whole nother race.
whole white woman. I'm like, because she told me what she was going to be wearing, where she was going to be at, because we met up at a park. And like, I walked up and I was just like, Candace? And she was just like, yeah. And I was just like, and then I heard the voice. I said, I know you fucking lying. I was like, well, it was nice to meet you. I'm out.
You did not say that out loud to that woman's face.
What? She lied about who the hell she was. Why was I about to be polite? Like, no. So, yeah. So now I will
I'm
random video call you, or we need to video call before we meet up because I need to make sure you are you.
Recording, but I understand being catfish, but it's not right. People should be upfront. I feel people important to be upfront about certain things. Okay, you know someone needs to know something. Be upfront about it. Okay, nobody wants to take an exam and a quiz every day. All right, you know what people need and want to know. So tell them.
And you know what was crazy? She was like, she had asked me what my type was. I was like, well, you the whole prototype right there. Like you got what I like, and then we gonna meet up, and you just not, nope. And you ain't even a semi attractive, you know, palm colored
Mhm.
woman. So it just wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna, you was already lying, so I already wasn't gonna trust you anyway if I did decide like no.
That's why I tell people just be upfront. If not, you're wasting time. And then some people are coerced and out of guilt to stay, to talk, and they think they can do it. And then eventually end up in a relationship for the same reason. Just wasting time. Be upfront. Be honest. Be accountable. Be responsible. It's not a lot to ask, especially if you're talking about dating. Okay, it's your responsibility to be honest, to be upfront. Okay, anyone else have any crazy stories to tell us about ghosting or being catfished? Anybody? I was definitely catfished a few times. You wouldn't think people are getting catfished. It's 2025, but you can still be catfished. You can be catfished in other ways. It doesn't have to be physical. I think you can be catfished like how I was, person being totally opposite. Okay, but I definitely
I
had
was
someone.
catfished twice.
Oh, really? You want to tell us about that shot?
One time I was catfished, and it wasn't a physical, like you said, it wasn't physical. It was just someone lying about who they were as far as like their careers, what they did for a living, what they didn't do, their family. They were like a was it psychopathic? What is it called? A pathological liar. They were basically the pathological liars and kind of just lied about everything their whole life. They looked how they were supposed to look, but they painted this picture that they was one way and it was another thing. Kind of like what she went through basically. And I was also physically catfished where a person was friends with someone who was basically helping her catfish me. So like the friend was sending her pictures to like send to me, and the person he was like he was basically being her friend, basically pretending to be her friend, like physically. And but she didn't look bad herself. Like she was catfishing me, but who she was, like who she what she looked like, I should say, wasn't nothing wrong with how she looked. So it was very strange when I did meet her that that's what she decided to do. Because I was just like, I would have still dated you as you are. You didn't even really have to catfish yourself. Like it was really strange.
Wow. So she didn't have the confidence to just be herself, and her friend enabling it, sending pictures to her so she can send to you to help catfish you. So how did you handle this situation? How did this end?
Um, that was just that. Like I met her at an airport, and I had went all the way to San Diego to meet her, and she ended up being somebody else. And I basically told her like, you could have just been yourself because you looked fine to me. Like I don't know. And the friend, like she could have got away with all type of stuff because the friend was helping her real good. Like they had a whole thing going. She could have probably got away with murder.
I mean, what was going on with her? Was she felt she was too skinny, too tall, too what was what was her
I
deal?
think she felt like she was too fat, maybe. I honestly don't know because I don't know because when I met her, she wasn't really fat to me. She was just, thick thighs save lives. Like, so I
Now,
was with it. I was like, oh, but I was
Yes, yes,
mad
they
at the
do.
same.
Yes.
They, you know. So I was just like, you just got a little extra going on, but you're not fat. You just got a little extra going, a little junk in your trunk, like you cute. But she didn't believe that, obviously. And the person that her friend was a little lighter than her. So I don't know if it was a colorist thing, but her friend was a little lighter than her and a little more petite, but wasn't very different in size, if I'm being honest. Like her friend was a BBW too. So I was just like, I don't really know what the point was, honestly. Because I seen them both and I was just like, I probably would have went with you over your friend, honestly. But the only reason why I was, going with the going is because we was talking and I was getting to know you on a personality level. That's more important to me than physical any day. But if I had to go off physical, I definitely would have chose the original her over the person she was pretending to be.
well, I hope you was able to tell her this so she can learn and push
Oh, I
that forward.
did. Oh, I
She,
did. I told her in person, in front of her face, like flat out, like this is what it is, and it's upsetting, But I definitely expressed that to her.
yeah, hopefully she was able to gain more confidence from this because you know how insecure you have to be do something like that.
Major.
Yes, and I wonder what contributed to that over her life, to where she felt the need to use her friends' photos in place of her own. But she has the
Mm.
personality, right?
She did. She had a really good personality. Now I don't think she's fully over her insecurity. Um, and that's just an observation. I think that this is something she should go to therapy for. But
What, are you still in contact with her?
she messaged me about a year ago, a year or so ago, um, and reached out to apologize to me and was basically, holding herself accountable for what happened. And in the midst of her apologizing to me, she asked me about like jobs and different things like that. We had like maybe an hour conversation, give or take. The conversation kind of went to what she wanted to do, who she wanted to be, her current relationship, yada yada yada. And it just sounded very much like she's still trying to figure it out.
Wow, wow. Well, I wish her well on that. That's a personal journey. Some of us reach it sooner than others, but I hopefully she gets there. I definitely hope she gets there.
Yeah,
I mean, what you told us should have definitely helped push us in the right direction. Be yourself and embrace who you are.
be
And
who you are.
and if you don't like something, you can change it. And when you said she wasn't even unattractive, so if she want to lose weight, she can lose weight. I'm just saying.
That's true. That's very true.
But I do know for some people, weight gain or losing weight is very difficult, and food is probably a comfort for a lot of people. So it makes it even more challenging if they're already struggling with it. It just sounds like a uh, double whammy, double edged sword. Well, everyone, we can definitely catch up this Sunday at the sit down. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to invite,
Alright.
Hmm.
yeah, I'm going to invite more people. See how that goes. And if anyone have any topics they want to talk about, feel free to message me and we can get into them.
Cool beans.
Okay. It's always nice to connect to y'all. I look forward to seeing y'all every Wednesday. And now Sundays. We're gonna stick to Sundays for the sit down. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
good.
Well, you all have a good night. You know how we end it. Go around and look. We're gonna go around and say we love ourselves, and you can leave yourself a positive message if you want. I'll start. Internet lady, I love you. I think you're doing pretty good. You're doing better than you was yesterday. I'm proud of you for taking a few days for yourself. You should do that more. And keep up the good work. Remember to, it's okay to relax sometimes.
Sure enough is. Take that break, girl.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. No problem. Well, I'll see you all Sunday at the sit